I'm trying to bring more engagement into public policy. Isn't that a good thing, though?
So I also want to ask...
You make it entertaining, Marsha, so people can bear to watch C-SPAN, because it is boring.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I have to go back and vote. Tomorrow we have one of those consequential votes in this Congress, which is a border bill, and I'm very looking forward to being there to vote on it.
I mean, is this a joke? George Santos allegedly stole almost $25,000 in unemployment benefits. And here's the part that you can't make up. This is too absurd to be true, but it is. Their bill defunds the program that catches people who commit this kind of fraud. But I think we should rename this the George Anthony DeValder Santos Fraudster Protection Act. What's that old horror movie saying? The call is coming from inside the house.
Jill, this is Sergeant Sacker. We've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. Jill, just get out of that house.
Mr. Speaker, any thought on Trump saying he's inclined to pardon the 2020 election rioters?
Our government...
In the name of Jesus. Jesus.
Amen.
In the mighty name of Jesus. Do you know Jesus?
Yes, I do. And we are spending millions and millions of dollars each year to pay people not to put up the border wall. And so
we're going to pause for just a minute.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled televised.
What have you all done to help Joe Biden in this year
Okay.
that Joe have waited
All right, so that's a ridiculous and silly question. I want to commend you for being the media and telling a Democrat policy. So let me ask you something.
Come on, man, that's been going on for 20 years.
Okay, hey, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. What rate of illegal immigration did we have in 2020? Do you know anything? I asked you a question. Do you know anything?
How long have you been in office?
I've been in office 11 years now.
And this has been kicked the count in multiple administrations.
Except you don't get to argue with me. You asked your question. You asked your question. You want to hold a press conference, you can do it over there.
And again, you will not resign.
I will not resign.
It is my distinct pleasure to introduce the President of the United States!
I had a joke for you, pal. How you were famous in the 1980s, then people counted you out. Only to finally make it big, and 3 years later, hell, I know something about that too.
Help but be reminded of an incident in the Old Testament that's not widely known. When God came to Moses and said, Moses, I have good news and bad news. Moses said, what's the good news, God? God said, I'm going to enable you to part the waters of the Red Sea and let my people go free. Then the waters of the Red Sea will recommence and bury Pharaoh's army. Moses said, that's wonderful, God. What's the bad news? God said, you prepare the environmental impact statement.
The last miracle I did was the 1969 Mets. Before that, I think you have to go back to the Red Sea. That was a beauty.
Mrs. Feinstein,
So I'm hearing from you that you will not increase the price of any insulin product again?
To repeat myself, we have a responsible pricing policy, the standard in the
Yes
industry.
or no would be the better answer. So the answer is no. Mr. Urenson.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt, but you're at 7 minutes.
You'll have the same amount of time, Senator.
Does every member have that?
Absolutely.
Because I think we're going to come up with a product that although last week revealed how sausage is made, and it was pretty messy, on the other hand, the final sausage is going to taste pretty good, to pursue the metaphor. Brother, I support your amendment. It's just a process that, I made a big stink about the process. I can't unstink, if you're with me. And so I've got to kind of remain faithful to that agreement.
We use tomato juice back home when our dogs were stumped. But go ahead.
One of my favorite things is UDF. So UDF is like our
Dunkin' Donuts, and I love the coffee, and it's phenomenal. I have a UDF card, as many people do. It looks like this. And then, of course, my voting card looks like this. And a couple weeks ago, I was voting, and I put my voting card in, and it wasn't registering. And I was like, I flipped out because I didn't want to miss a vote. I got very scared. And then I pulled out my card being like, what is wrong with it? And I looked, and I had tried to vote with my UDF card.
Lying in the past, what do you think will make people believe you this time around?
Well, look, like I said, I've asked many times, I want to be judged by the work I do in the body.
It's a lie.